We're live.
You look like a deer in headlights.
Well, because
start the show.
We weren't on. Now we're on. So here's the thing. When you're waiting to go live, should I be looking down so that when they say live, I go, oh, hi. Should I stare at it? Should I be serious? Should I be like enforced? No, let's not do that again.
I have a microphone now.
That's good.
Yeah.
Is it plugged in?
Yes.
Are you sure?
I think so. You guys let me know.
Let's start the show. We have Mavrik Bourque going to be joining. It is, yep, see, there it is. I was just looking over here. It is Monday, September 8th. It is the DLLS Stars podcast. Craig Ludwig, Sam Nessler, Owen Newkirk, and of course, Ryan Vaughters. We didn't scare him off after the show on Friday, but it's a whole new week. Before we get into today's show, and by the way, we have a big one today. Stars forward Mavrik Bourque will be joining us after the first ad break. So segments 2 and 3 will have Mavrik, we believe. You're pretty confident?
I'm confident.
Good. Okay. This is all on Sam. If it goes bad, we're blaming Sam today. So before we get into it, 2 things. This is our Big Brothers, Big Sisters donation month. But this week, we are not actually asking for your donations instead of super chats because this push is encouraging people to sign up to be a big. What does that mean? Well, become a big because mentorship reshapes futures, strengthens communities, and drives economic progress. Together, of course, we can change the odds and build a better tomorrow. Bigs and littles hang out for a few hours a month doing normal everyday activities like seeing a movie or doing homework or playing games, going out to eat, just hanging out. Well, each big and little match is supported by a dedicated match support specialist who's always there to provide resources and support. You can enter your zip code on the site to find the local Big Brothers, Big Sisters agency in your area and then complete the online inquiry form. Upon completion, a Big Brothers, Big Sisters staff member will contact you. And all you have to do is go to bbbs.org. That's Big Brothers, Big Sisters abbreviated. So bbbs.org/ALLCITY. And you can sign up and do a great thing. By the way, as Sam can't figure out how to use his chair.
They're going out. I'm a little taller.
Don't forget, we have a new thing we debuted on Friday. The Supporters Club on YouTube for true sickos. That's right. You can get, if you sign up for this, and Ardell, no. We have a shout out to Ardell, Jeremy,
who's already on it,
Dan, Travis, and Austin, who have already signed up to the Supporters Club.
Yeah.
This is not part of being a diehard. This is an extra little thing so you can use emojis like on the bottom right corner of the screen right now, or have your name highlighted in the chat a little bit differently. It stands out. Another level of access, exclusive content, and let's just face it, when we see you posting,
it's very obvious.
It is very obvious that you are part of the Supporters Club. So check that out. All right. Now we can start the show. God, I'm short. You need a booster seat.
Yeah, I just moved my seat up and look how short I look.
Do you think Sam has ever seen a phone
You're
book?
in your, what are you, 32 now? 33.
Are you
sure?
Are
you not used to being short after 30 years?
You know what? I was until my co-host on my show started ripping on me every single day about it, and now I'm not used to it.
I never would. You're the one that brings up. You're like putting gas on your own fire.
Check the chat. We've got Bing Bong and Dirk's fadeaway emojis from Ardell. He's showing off, and I love it. That's the Supporters Club right there.
So here's the question. When we get the Bing Bong, do we have to give him Bing Bong?
No.
That's
a super chat
emoji.
Well, we don't have to because otherwise somebody would just Bing Bong emoji.
Oh, yeah, because they can do it without it.
That's right. No, those are still super chats. However,
we're watching you.
If you are kind of thinking about signing up for Supporters Club, the more people that sign up, the more they will unlock new and fun emojis. So it'll give you more to play with.
Got to be a Luds emoji.
Oh my God.
Sure.
Which one? So
there's some in the Discord.
I was going to say in the Discord, there's a bunch.
It's a yellow beer mug.
What about the one with that hat with a little feather in it? You remember that one?
The little
It was like the Robin Hood hat.
little green hat you wore on the show.
You
I
had
have so many pictures of you from last year
Or
wearing something
there's an
ridiculous.
emoji with you with the moose hat antlers on.
Yep.
They've had some fun with it.
You put random hats on last year when we did the StreamYard shows.
I don't remember one with
very
a
often.
feather in it though.
Yeah, it was like a little green.
See if I can pull it up
Feather
and show
hat.
you. Oh,
That
it was,
little-
I think it was,
I
I
think
want to say it
it's
was
on-
one of the late night shows.
is it on Slack too, or is it just on Discord?
I don't remember.
Okay. So we're going to talk to Mavrik Bourque, segments 2 and 3. So coming up in about 10 minutes or so after the ad break, Mavrik Bourque will join us. But the news that we didn't get to last week because we had Doug Armstrong on. By the way, that was a great conversation with him. And Luds, when we had to stop, even though we did a little overtime, and I got yelled at for it, I had 50 more things I wanted to ask him about.
Yeah, it's hard with guys like that. We'll have the same issue with Billy tomorrow.
Billy Guerin, the GM of the Minnesota Wild and Team USA.
When you get those kind of people on the show, and you're kind of leery where you can go with it. You know how deep you want to ask him questions, because you don't want to put him in a. I didn't want to put Army in a spot where he would probably answer it, but he's probably going to go, Luds, why you asked me that question? Because I'd prefer not to, or I have to tap dance around it. But I think, and you know what, Billy Guerin is exactly like Doug. You know, they're pretty much open, and Billy's always been open as a general manager. He gives you a lot of info, so it'll be good. I would be curious. There are a couple questions out there that we could ask. You know, not that we need any, but
I mean, we don't have enough time, right? The amount of things that we didn't get to with Army, it's incredible. Well, the Stars actually have hockey games this weekend, and before you go, wait a minute, what? I thought training camp started
same thing.
in 2 weeks. The first training camp preseason game of any team in the NHL this year is Dallas versus St. Louis on September 20th. That's not this weekend. But the Stars are hosting this year some prospect games against the Red Wings, which used to be the Traverse City tournament up in Traverse City, Michigan. Now, some people they would travel to that tournament, whether it was Heike or Sean would do this. They'd go up there and say, the only thing that isn't any good about having them in Frisco is they don't get to go to Northern Michigan.
Golf.
Play golf. And that's all it is you go watch a couple prospect games, then you play golf, then you eat dinner, you have a few drinks at the bar, and then you do it the next day. And Luds, I think there were like 8 teams for a while, like a big round robin tournament. And they would play a semifinal and a final. The last couple years, it's been getting smaller and smaller. It's down to just the Stars and the Red Wings. Well, they're going to host them this weekend at Comerica Center in Frisco. They're fired up. You heard the sirens. It happens all the time. It's like they're coming right out of the fire station down our street.
Hair stands up on my arms when I hear that noise.
Don't you go, what'd I do? Or they're after me? No, they found me. So check out the Stars prospect roster. They released this end of last week. And so, while this is not preseason action from guys that you'd expect to be in the NHL this year, you never know. And Sam, as we look through that list, I can't help but remember that Matthias Janmark was probably the biggest of the last, 10 years of Stars prospect tournament games, where they thought he was going to go to Europe and play junior or maybe Swedish Elite League, now it's called the SHL. Was so good at the Traverse City tournament, he went to the main Stars training camp. Good there, good in preseason, ended up making the opening night roster and then never looked back.
Yeah, it's a good tournament for evaluating exactly that. What level are you? Because if you're coming from college, you're not playing against college kids. If you're coming from junior, you're not playing against junior kids. You're playing against the guys who have either been drafted or are in a system or signed a PTO, whatever they might be on, where an NHL team thinks they are good enough to have them within their system for this tournament. So that does take the level of competition up a little bit. Those are the outliers. The Janmarks, a few guys who have really impressed and then maybe not made the team right away, but have made a mark, and people remember, hey, remember that guy in that tournament? He dominated. And then the other side of it is guys who don't, right? I remember there's a few guys you're disappointed with who you think you should go. If you're a guy who is anywhere on the fringe of making the roster and you don't dominate, you maybe take a step back in people's minds, right?
That's a great point. And Luds, I wanted to go there next. The guys that are maybe getting their first exposure of playing against other NHL prospects, this is fascinating because these are not games where an 18-year-old comes in and plays against a 32-year-old NHL veteran. These are supposedly your peers within 3 or 4 age years. Typically, they don't put AHL veterans out there because they're not prospects. They're more developed and experienced it sort of graduated from this. If you have any hopes of making the NHL roster this year and you don't stand out in this group, your chances are really slim at this moment.
Yeah, that's probably why it was better when there was 8 teams there, because you have more opportunities.
Yeah.
And when you have
More games.
when you have so many of those teams there, it just brings in more scouts because everybody knows, and so they all like pencil that one in. We got to go there because you're going to find that diamond in the rough, something that maybe we're missing that piece. So opportunity is the first thing that comes to mind. Now it's a little bit obviously limited, but I think that you'll find players there. There's players that you'll know, and you want to see how they perform with players that are better than them and against them. And then it's the other way around also. There's the ones that you don't know or know much about, and all of a sudden they catch your eye. And how do they respond? And then I think it's not just the first game, it's the games that come after that. Because now you're wondering, can he put one foot in front of the other and have that same kind of an opportunity? And you have to know who you are. I mean, you know, back in the day, not as much now, if there would be somebody kind of on the border, but he was a bigger guy, had some toughness. Like if you're going to fight, because that's how you catch their eye. You circle the kid's name. But then if he fights the next day, now he's just made an impression, not because he's scoring goals, but because he competes. And you understand that he's willing to do, and he's not known to fight. Probably more importantly, is that now you're going, he knows something about how to make an impression, and he's doing whatever he has to do, step outside his comfort zone to be able to do that. And those are the kind of players you're like, you know what? We got to bring him to camp. And then we got to let's see how he responds against the other players, the good players.
And NHL regulars as opposed to other young
That's
hopefuls.
what I think. And the bottom line of that, that's what I think of the defense. It's an opportunity, not for the best players, because they already know who they are, but the other ones that are kind of in the mushy middle, so to speak, to be able to step out and not necessarily make a name for yourself, but just put them in your brain.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And have them write your name down.
Now, they are free to the public. So it's at Comerica Center in Frisco. If you want to go watch, it's this weekend, Saturday and Sunday night. And Luds, we watched, Sam, you did too, the U18 World Junior Tournament that they hosted this last spring. Well, this is a step up from that because these are older players that are either already playing pro or playing major junior past their draft year, right? I don't believe there's anybody, well, that might not be entirely true. Yeah, no, Cameron Schmidt, I think, is the youngest one on the Stars roster. He's already been drafted.
Yep.
So I don't think there's anybody that's yet to be, there's no invite that is still of draft eligible age, I believe. So you're going to see, like, Emil Hemming is on here. Take a look at the forwards again, if you would, Brian. Is it Hemming or, is Cameron Schmidt the guy, Sam, that you're most interested up front to look at?
Yeah, Hemming. You just mentioned Hemming because those are the guys. Hemming.
Those are the last 2 Stars first round picks.
Yeah, and he is supposed to be their number 1 guy right now in the prospect pool. That it has the highest ceiling.
Hemming.
Hemming. Yeah.
You saw Sean thinks that Schmidt's their number 1 prospect.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, right, we don't know what to expect from Schmidt. I saw him in development camp, so it's not a whole lot to look at. But he is a very skilled guy that we talked about it a bunch. People believe really went down in the draft pool to where he got to almost the end of the 3rd round, I think. So that's a guy that can really impress because of his size.
Because he's that smaller stature.
Yeah, so I'd be really impressed to see what those 2 do up front for this team.
What about Angus McDonald?
What about him?
I'm asking you guys because I don't know.
Are you just reading stuff off the?
I am, but I picked out a name and I like his first name, and so I'm wondering, is he a big kid? First thing is
his size.
5'10", 185.
Okay, so what are his stats?
I don't have that in front of me.
Well, all he's got to do is go to Hockey DB.
Well, you could too.
Well, anyway, I just like the name. I just want to know if you guys...
Luds.
I just figured I'd pick out one name since you guys were talking about people, if you actually did know these kids.
That's just it. Not very many of them.
You're not going to know a lot of them.
There's some names in the prospect pool. Tristan Bertucci on defense.
From Toronto.
If you show Ryan, put up the defense if you would, please. And the goalies.
There you go.
Luds, on defense, the one that actually catches my eye the most is Trey Taylor because he played college hockey, came in at the end of last season with the Texas Stars, and I heard from Stephen Reserve down there. I think Robert went down there and saw him play a little bit. Robert Tiffin, our good friend and friend of the show, and said really good things about him. Like, Sam, you said he played at Clarkson. He's a BC kid, British Columbia. And then look at the goalies. Ben Cross was the 3rd goalie for the playoffs for Dallas, but really a Texas and Idaho guy. So let's see how he's doing. And then the German kid, I think it's Arno Tefensi, but I could be just butchering his last name. But I'm curious because they're bloods. I mean, these goalies 6'4", 6'5", like they're not making Darren Pangs these days that play in the net.
Well, again, if you're going to be wrong, be big. And so I think in today's game, as far as goaltenders go, there's not a lot of small goalies left in the league right now at the NHL level either. I mean, I think that's the first thing that comes to mind. I'm trying to figure out. Sean had sent a video of some kid that was 6'7", a defenseman.
Oh, a defenseman.
It was in Detroit. Yeah, it was just a few weeks ago.
Well, here's
anyway.
I know we have to go to break. Ryan, can you pop up the Detroit Red Wings prospects real quick? Just so they released their roster. Sean would actually be the one to ask about this because he might know a name or two here. None of these for me because we don't really follow the draft picks and development players for the Red Wings like we do with the Stars. And even then, right?
Is Carl Otto Magnuson on that list?
I don't know. Can you read it?
Yes, it is. Defenseman. That's the 6'7" defenseman.
Okay, so
Carl
he's the big guy that Sean was talking about. Okay. Something to keep an eye on. But I will say this, and we do have to go to break because we have to get to Mavrik Bourque. No matter how much, and Luds, you probably have a better eye than most out there watching players do drills in practice to evaluate. But for me, it's so much easier and for me more useful to watch them play in a game setting because I don't think you get a full sense of what they can do until you see them play and show their hockey sense and vision and how they adapt to the actual game, not just running a drill.
Pro practice is out the window.
Right.
It's so we see so many. Again, they're all on the ice 11 months a year.
Yeah.
I mean, so they can all skate. They all know that they can skate. So, but yeah. And then when it comes game time, I said this about our team a week ago. We are going to be pretty good. Well, after the last scrimmage on Friday, I'm pulling back. I'm taking a step back. I'm not getting too out in front of this whole thing. So, I mean, you let them scrimmage for an hour, and again, against you pick the kids that you want. Anyway, yeah, you get dialed in when you're in practice. All right, let's get a first rounder in here.
Let's get a big time player in here. Mavrik Bourque joins us next here on the DLS Stars podcast. Don't go anywhere.
Before we get to Mavrik Bourque, I get to tell you guys about Monarch Money. Monarch Money is the simplest way to stay organized with your finances, period. Feel organized and confident in your finances with Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal finance tool that brings your entire financial life together in one clean interface on your laptop or phone. Personally, I really need it. I signed up for it. I haven't actually put everything in there, but I'm not great at organizing multiple things at once, if that makes any sense. I would
focused,
definitely
peg you for that.
Yeah,
for sure.
If I'm writing an article, I'm writing on the article. If there's something else that I need to pay attention
You're
to,
saying multitasking?
I'm not. Yes. So having Monarch Money allows you to just have everything there: credit cards, investments, your savings, your checking account, so that everything is right in front of you. It gives you an interface, gives you all kinds of cool graphs and things that I probably don't understand if you were to lay it out on a spreadsheet. But if you put it on Monarch Money, it makes it super simple. So don't let financial opportunities slip through the cracks. Use code DLLS at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That is 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code DLLS.
All right, let's talk about Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. You and I make decisions every day, some more better than others, but on Prize Picks, you can be right and get paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this entire season, whether it's football, hockey, basketball, baseball, English Premier League. You can do it all with Prize Picks. Okay, so maybe you go Josh Allen, more or less than 270 passing yards. He had a heck of a game last night. Maybe you go Saquon Barkley, more or less than one rushing touchdown. Prize Picks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on anywhere from 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in, and they're very quick at paying out. Download the app today. Use the code DLLS and get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code DLLS. You get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks, it's good to be right. All right, let's bring him in. We'd say enough about prospects. Let's talk to an actual living, breathing NHL hockey player. Mavrik Bourque joins the show. Mavrik, are you back in Dallas now already?
Yeah, I got back last Monday, so it's been a week so far.
So I'm guessing you were up north where the summer weather is more tolerable, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Weather in the summer is way better back home. I was there for 3 months.
How do you handle Texas heat? Because you clearly felt it during the playoffs, and it's been okay here right now. It's not the normal September in Dallas, but do you like 100 degrees, or are you like me, a northerner that's used to it being much cooler?
No, I rather when it's much cooler. Right now it's not too bad, but last week I think it was Thursday, Friday, I just stay in AC. There's no chance I was gonna go outside.
Yeah, I don't think I've pulled a hoodie out of my closet in
He's
about.
got one
I
on
was
now.
just wondering. I figured maybe he was still in Quebec wearing a
No,
hoodie
he's
right
got
now.
That's
the,
why
probably
I
got
had to
the
ask.
AC blast.
I hope
in
your
there.
AC is very good,
Yeah.
Maverick, because I haven't worn a sweatshirt. I want to say since like early April, maybe.
You're a sweaty guy.
Well, that's different. Yeah, Luds,
Well, Maverick, enough of the pleasantries here.
fastballs.
Talk a little bit. No, you know what? You've got what? You got just about a full season in. You've played 74, 75 NHL games now. Talk about the weight of being a first round draft pick and then coming into your first year and that process.
Um, I mean we're in Dallas, right? I'm from Canada, so I guess the market in Canada is a lot different. Um, in Dallas, I never really felt the weight to be a first rounder. I just basically followed the step from the Thomas Harley, the Jason Robertson, those guys before me, and yeah, so obviously I got drafted, played 2 more years in junior, played 2 years in the AHL, and made the step last year. So I think it was a long process to get to the NHL, playing 4 years after being drafted. But I think I'm still progressing, and yeah, I just trust the process and go year by year.
Well, then let me follow up with that. Like, so talk about playing. You know, you kind of light up the American League when you're there. Talk about everybody thinks that, you know, especially when you're getting drafted high, that players are just going to step into the NHL and play. It's not always that easy. So talk about that transition coming from the American League and basically being the best player in the American League and then stepping into the NHL.
Yeah, obviously you're in the AHL, you play top minute, you play all the most of the offensive face-off draw and stuff like that, and you're involved in the game. And after that, you get here. Obviously, I didn't really have the training camp I was expecting with whatever happened. And
Weren't
when you're a
you dealing
rookie,
with an? I'm sorry to jump in. Weren't you dealing with an injury to start last training camp?
yeah. So the first day I got here, I felt ready. I skate a lot, and I step on a stick, and I kind of felt something in my hip. And I was like, okay, it's fine. And the first preseason game I played, I just kind of fuck it up and came back too quick last preseason game and fuck it up again. So, and when you're a rookie, you're already like for myself, I knew I was probably a step behind because it always take me time to adjust. But with that injury, I was basically 2 step behind, and it's hard to get going when you come back and you basically play 10 minutes a night. Your confidence already not there. You're already behind. Like so it just add up. So yeah, I think it took me time to adjust to the NHL level, but was pretty happy with my second half with the opportunity I got.
I'm really happy with that answer because now the handcuffs are off Luds.
Yeah. Oh, he dropped it twice.
Luds is ready.
Yeah,
now
yeah,
he's
good.
got the ring.
Maverick,
You got the green light.
Maverick,
didn't you?
when we spoke, I was really interested to hear about your mindset going into that trip to the East Coast around the early January. Can you just kind of walk through that mindset and how that helped you kind of take another level to your game after that?
Yeah, obviously we March when I got a puck in the face. I remember at around that time, and my last game at home was against Utah, and I didn't play one shift in the third. So and we're going up East 5 game. Obviously, I was not really producing. I was not doing much. So I knew it was kind of like a trip where I was either gonna stay here or maybe they never felt that way as an organization, but that's the way I felt as a player. And yeah, I went to that trip, and I think that's where I took off. And obviously, I had Montreal, seeing my family, friends on that trip was really good. But yeah, I had more opportunity. I kind of started playing on the power play a little bit, shift here and there, and I think that's where I got going from that trip.
I want to go back a little further, and then we'll get back into last year a bit. Sean, who's not on the show today, but Sean Shapiro's done some interviews with you in the past, and one he wrote I thought was fascinating was talking about you going from your first year with Texas, which was the 22-23 season, and then 23-24, where you had just an explosion with the AHL team, about you betting on yourself, you being bullish and saying, look, I went from being a marquee player in juniors to, I mean, you had 47 points and 20 goals your first year in the AHL, but that wasn't good enough in your mind, was it? So where did you find that sort of passion and confidence in yourself, even when things that first year weren't up to where you thought the standard should be?
I think I've just always been like that. You just get rattled, and you have everybody's got high expectation. Everybody's in the NHL for a reason. And for myself, I know the player I want to be, and like I said in the past, I don't think I'm even close to that. And obviously, it always helped. Like I show up this year, like all the older guys, like you kind of like know them, and like you feel more comfortable. And for some people, it might look like, well, like it doesn't really matter. But for me, I've always been somebody that like to be in my environment that I know and stuff like that. So yeah, I think that's how I felt my second year. I show up for when I got sent down the first practice. I show up. I felt great. And sometimes when you don't feel really good, don't feel confident, you feel like your stick is like a foot too long or stuff like that. Like people that play the game know how it feels like, and yeah, it just details like that I feel like I'm ready to go. And I learned a lot from last year. Like I think I played fourth line, I played center, I played wing, I played power play, I played PK. Like learning from all those older guys. But I think the learning process is enough, and now it's time to show up. So that's the way I look at it.
So, if you say you play every position, say you're 3-4 years in your career, right? Where do you want to play? Where does Mavrik Bourque play his best hockey at? What position would you, if you choose? I know the easy answer, the correct answer, I know is to say, hey, I'll play where they want me to go. But you get to this certain point in a career, you know where you feel most comfortable.
Obviously, it's center. I play my whole life at center. I believe I'm a center. I gotta get better on my face-off. But I think the rest of my game at center is pretty good, and I see myself being a center in the future.
Why do you think? Because I think a lot of young players when they come to the NHL struggle on faceoffs early. Why do you think that is? Because it's a learning curve when you get to the NHL, isn't it?
Yeah. I think for me in junior, I never really pay attention to face-off. It was just whatever. You're gonna get the puck back if you lose, and most of the time you just win it because you're still smarter than everybody else. But you get to the pro level, and some guys are making a living from that, or some guys been playing center for the last 10, 15 years in the NHL. So yeah, you get to that step, and every face-off is so important, so everybody's dialed in. So uh, just gotta get used to it. But like I said, my second half, my face-off got a lot better.
Maverick, I'm curious. I didn't actually ask you this last year when the trade deadline came around and names started getting thrown out. I know Logan's name was out there. I'm sure some people at least were mentioning yours. How did you go through that whole process when all that's going down and you're kind of going through that, whether it's 2 nights before or the night before that trade deadline?
Yeah, that was kind of crazy. You never know. We knew I was gonna go to bed that night, and obviously we saw all the tweets saying Mikko Rantanen was coming, and it's funny. I didn't really want to call Stank at that point because I'm like, well, like there's probably somebody that's going the other way. So I call Johnny and be like, hey, you heard that? He's like, yeah, I'm playing video game with Stank. So I after that, that's where. I guess I don't know if Stank was the same way, but after that, me and Stank were texting in the morning. I'm like, "You heard anything?" He's like, "No, not yet." And that's how it went down. But I didn't really sleep that night. But before that, I never really thought about it. It just more in that moment that like there's a bunch of name throwing around and nobody actually really know. So obviously, yeah, it was a stressful moment because you never know when it can happen. But yeah.
All right, don't go anywhere. We've got to do a quick ad break, and we'll be right back with Mavrik in just a moment here on DLLS.
All right.
Sam?
Yes, I get to talk about the supporters club. Yeah.
I mean, did
I'm
you look
looking
at the chat?
I'm looking at the chat right
There's
now.
a bing bong emoji right now by
bing
Ardell.
bong emoji by Ardell. I'm seeing the names. You guys don't know what the supporter chat is. The supporter club is. You can see right on the screen there. It is true sicko level stuff and for the real ones only. This is separate from being a diehard. This gives you all kinds of benefits, exclusive videos we're going to do, exclusive things like the things you're seeing in the chat right now with emojis. Your name basically flashes at us when you put in the chat. So it makes it really easy for you to get in touch with us during the show. You get access to the exclusive badge in our chat, as I mentioned, emojis like the Bing Bong one that we have. Plus, as Owen mentioned off the top, the more people we have in it, the more emojis and more exclusive things we're going to add for you guys. You get behind the scenes videos from DLS. You show you are at the true DLS sicko level and join the supporters club today. Right there for all of your information on the screen. But there's more to talk about today, and it's our apparel. And this is something I haven't learned how to do with the producer yet because he usually has his hand on a button and he's going to press a shirt, and then I say a different one. So, Ryan, why don't you just pop up whatever apparel you feel like popping up on the screen, and I'll talk about it. Look at that. Finnish Mafia shirt, one of our best sellers.
That's a good move, Sam.
Thank you. One of our best sellers, the Finnish Mafia shirt. I believe we sent that to one of our Rangers guests, Molly. Didn't Molly Walker get one of those, baby?
Did we?
I don't know if she has it yet, but it's on the way.
Do you know who wants one? Not Finnish Mafia, although he probably would. Is Jeff Merrick wanted the Nolan Ryan?
That's also in the process of being worn on his show.
Did you text him and get it?
Oh, we got it working. So Finnish Mafia
I was thinking
shirt.
about it and I haven't done anything
Finnish
about
Mafia
it.
shirt. Ryan, hit another one. Oh, love it. And the Otter shirt.
You finally got it.
I would love to see the Mavrik Bourque shirt. So because since he's here watching us do this right now, but we don't have a Mavrik Bourque shirt yet.
If you're, I mean, he probably gets the Top Gun reference way too commonly.
Yes.
But do we not need him in a pair of aviators as Maverick?
Something about feeling dangerous.
Well, because it can't be the Dallas Mavericks because that's
Yeah.
like this is the one of the Luka shirts that was on sale. But
anyway, alldls.com. Go
Yeah.
check it out. Let's bring back in Mavrik Bourque.
all right, Maverick. Speaking of, we'll ask you about Top Gun later. I want to go. You mentioned playing Montreal, so I want to ask you about that. January 11th, 2025. So it was this year. You got to play at the Bell Center. I'm not even going to try to butcher because I don't speak French at all. Luds is actually pretty good at it because he played there. You get to play against the Canadiens. You get an assist. The team wins in a shootout. That had to, I mean, for a kid that grew up in Quebec, what was that like for you? To the experience of playing there, playing against the Habitants, the whole thing, that must have been unbelievable for you to realize that dream.
Yeah, I think for me it's you have some stuff that happened in the past that, like, whatever, your first NHL game when you get drafted. I remember when I made World Junior, but for me that day was the best, my top one for what happened in my hockey career. Just Saturday night at the Bell Center, just guys send me no bucket, no helmet. So yeah, obviously I got an assist. We won in a shootout, like, and I felt like things were kind of turning around for me. So yeah, obviously I will say it was probably, and even before that, it was my birthday on the Thursday night, and we got in Montreal the night of my birthday, Friday, Saturday. So yeah, I will say it was probably the best couple days I had last year.
And you scored against Philadelphia right before your birthday.
Yeah.
And then you scored
exactly.
in Toronto. That's a pretty darn good week or so.
Yeah. So that's why I'm saying I felt like that's where it kind of took off, and obviously I think I was playing pretty good until the break, and even when we came back from the break, and after that trade deadline happened. So I was, like a lot of offensive guys were out there, so it's kind of hard to keep going, but I was happy with what I did on my second half, like I said.
So Luds likes to make fun of Sam for his height or lack thereof.
Thanks.
Every now and then we make an age joke with Luds, which usually comes right back at us. But I just want to point out that you were born after he retired from the NHL. So I want to know, like, as a Montreal, Quebec native, are you aware of the guy that was on the Stanley Cup winning team in the Canadiens?
Don't lie.
I didn't know that.
That's okay, man.
I didn't know you won in '93. I didn't know that.
Yeah, well, it was before that too.
No. What you were? What
86?
86?
Yeah.
86
Oh,
and
you won in
98.
I don't even know
86,
where.
so-
I don't even know if your parents were born yet. It's okay, but they can talk about how old I am. But I can kick their asses both at the same time, so I'm not too concerned.
One
about
hand
it.
each.
Hey, I didn't say anything.
Since we're talking about Montreal, Maverick, as everybody knows here, we've lost a legend Friday night in Kenny Dryden. Growing up, did you have a favorite Montreal Canadian as an idol, so to speak?
To be honest, like you look offensively, like they never really had like a top player. When I was younger, they had Kovalev, but like I was just like a diehard, like just about the team mostly. Obviously, I love PK Subban and Carey Price, but like offensively, like looking at somebody that like I could model my game at, or like I kind of like. Not really, like it was like Brian Giunta, Mike Camilleri, like those guys, but like I never had really like a forward where like, oh, this guy's my idol. I was just like just a fan of like the full team basically.
All right. Go follow
You
up.
know
No,
how
I'll
I
come
like. You may have, because you were still growing up at this, but like he's still playing, but sort of toward the end of his career. I've always been a Brendan Gallagher fan. I love the way he
Yeah.
plays. I'm not trying to make the comparison because of your heights, but there is something there to the way he plays and the way you play. And I'm only just thinking about it now because I've just been a fan. Every time the Stars played Montreal, at the end of the night, I'd be like, man, Gallagher was all over the place again. He's tough. He's physical. He goes to the net hard. I know it's the toll is
He breaks a lot of his own bones. Yeah,
great. Yeah, gets hurt unfortunately because of that hard style. But I've always liked the way he played.
Yeah, I think he's been there for a while. Like obviously when he came in at the same time as Alex Galchenyuk.
Yep.
And when you're young, you look more at the guys that are more skilled and more flashy. So obviously, when I was young, I prefer Galchenyuk, but one guy's still in the league and the other guy's not. So, but yeah, Gallagher always been up there for one of the players that I like.
All right, I have a hard hitter for you here, Maverick. We talked to Logan Stankoven on our show. I don't even remember when, but he talked a little bit about the ping pong in at Wyatt's apartment, I believe is where it is. His last remark, he left the show right after, so we didn't get to ask him about it, but he mentioned that Wyatt likes to change the scoreboard to make it look like he's better than he is. So can you give us some dynamic on the ping pong tournaments with Wyatt Johnston?
Yeah, actually, I only play one tournament, and the day I show up, we split the guys on both sides, and they put me with the best two player. I don't know who it was, but I got rinsed both game, and I left. So I never really. My name always been on the board 0-3, but yeah, I never really had a chance to beat them.
Don't worry about not being able to play ping pong, Matt. It's not a big deal. Hey, maybe a little hockey. These guys get a little sidetracked here. Tell me what are your own goals for the season? Expectations and goals for this year.
Like I said, like when I felt like I kind of find myself after Christmas. Like obviously I had some good games, bad game, but I feel for me this year, I'm looking to have an impact every night. Not necessarily on the score sheet, but uh, just not coasting around. And sometimes I felt like I was playing a game to not crack eggs. Yeah, obviously I didn't do any mistake tonight, but what did I do offensively? Like nothing. So I'm just looking to be more involved and creating more and obviously generating more offense. I don't know what will really be my role yet, but I definitely want to be more offensive and creating more scoring chance. And obviously, usually points come with that. But just for now, just looking to be more consistent and have a bigger impact night after night.
I'll tell you, I've said this. These guys have heard me say this before. There's a saying: you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And you find out over the years, you actually do. You get traded, and then you can come into a team. And I look at your situation now. I mean, you've got a different coach, and not that there was anything against Pete, but now you have an opportunity to show Gully what you can do and how you can do it and things like that, right? And so that's that opportunity. I want you to explain to other people the difference. I'd love it that you know who you are, you know who you want to be. Explain the difference of playing a wing versus playing in the middle of the ice, responsibility wise and things like that.
Yeah, I think for me, like being a center, like obviously defensively, like you're gonna get more responsibility, but I feel like defensively, like as a center, you're more involved, you're more into the play. Um, for some guys, they don't like being in the middle of the ice. For me, I feel like I don't have the quickest first step, so I like just being always in movement. So I feel like it helped my speed and it helped like I like being in the middle of the ice. You have more option. I think my best asset is my hockey sense. So just being able to play kind of like both sides of the rink. And the difference, like you got to be more responsible defensively in your own zone, but at the same time, I feel as a winger, I feel like your plays is often more on when you get pressure along the wall, and um, not you gotta do the more dirty stuff, but like I will say that when you're in defensive zone, like it's easier, but like when the puck is on your side, like you gotta make sure the puck gets out. And when you get in the zone, most of the time you're gonna be on one side. Obviously, when you play your off wing, I think I prefer that playing my off wing. When you get in the zone, it's easier to cut in the middle. You see Miko all the time on his off wing. Like yeah, I just feel like you got more option. But after that, in the O zone, like you play center or wing, it's pretty much the same thing. I will say it's a lot about the defensive part. But usually that's good offense come from good defense. So half the time the puck come from the D zone. So you find yourself either more in the middle of the ice or more on the wing. That's the way I look at it.
Have that same conversation with Gully, because I've heard you say 3 times or 4 times in that conversation you mentioned the word defense, and it's such an important part of the centerman's job to know where he is in his own zone and to work low and to be able to transition in and out of walls. And the other thing that's nice is to hear you say that you don't mind playing the offside.
I noticed
Because-
that right
Some
away.
options there.
I've been having a hard time with the way these people are drawing up the lineup and everything here, taking Matt Duchene and putting him on the left wing. Because I think we're missing a left winger.
Well,
over
they
there. And I
they
think
had to trade Marchman away. They're trying to find
well, I'm
who
just
fits.
saying,
Yeah.
I think it's nice to be able to have somebody that wants to play on their offside or is comfortable playing on their offside. And that, in my opinion, that kind of make
Well,
an
and
opportunity.
Mav,
Yeah.
we watched Evgeny Dodonov thrive on both sides, but he liked to play on the right, even though he's a left shot. And you talked about it, being able to come in as a right shot from the left where the middle of the ice is open. You really prefer that?
Yeah, obviously I never really played left in my life. So I will say like on the defensive zone, like you're either both sides. Sometimes you even have as a right winger, you come back and you're on your left. So these zone, I don't really know what to tell, but obviously offensively, when I'm a center, like if I get in on the right side, my option are way less than when you get in on your offside, and when you get the puck. As a winger, like you always feel better on your offside when you cross the blue line, because if you have nothing, like you still on your forehand all the time to just chip it in. But I feel like you always have more option to cut back or just cut in the middle. Yeah.
And anytime you come across the blue line on your offside, you're always in a better shooting angle.
Yeah.
You get that opportunity, you get a little top of the
Yeah.
you got a better
Yeah.
opportunity.
Okay, I want to ask something about that because you talked earlier about pressure, and we know from your previous interviews and conversations that you put a lot of pressure and set a very high bar for yourself, the standard of play. And you mentioned earlier about playing on eggshells a little bit. So how do you handle the internal pressure that you put on yourself? Forget about us, coaches, fans, all that. Like
That ain't that easy.
I know. Easier said than done. But I mean, we talked about an opportunity. Marchment had to get traded away because of salary cap issues. And so there's an opportunity there. Do you handle that internal pressure that you personally put on yourself well?
Yeah, obviously, yeah. If I'm here now, probably means I'm doing something good. So, yeah, but I'm smart enough to see that I have a great opportunity in front of me. But now it's just on me to size it and show that I can actually become an offensive player in this league.
Mavrik, I'm really curious. You mentioned Luds was talking about next opportunities and the new coach and everything like that, and you mentioned there were some times that were really frustrating. I know I spoke to you a bunch during the playoffs when you were healthy scratch, things like that. Did you ever feel that you lost the trust of the coaching staff, or was it simply to you just a depth? There's just too many guys on this roster type of thing.
I actually don't really know what to answer there. Not really. Like, I still play the first playoff game. Still put me at the first playoff game probably means did some good stuff during the season. Obviously, after that, it got frustrating because you're not playing at all. But yeah, no, I think they trust me. They put me in the first game. They put me in the last game. So I don't think so.
All right. I want a different one. We're almost out of time, unfortunately, but let's look ahead to this team with a full year with Mikko Rantanen. Obviously, Granlund isn't here anymore. Marchment isn't here. Ceci, there's some changes, but you guys got Mikko Rantanen, and now you've been to the conference final 3 years in a row, or, you know, was it? Is it 3? Am I losing my mind today?
Right,
I'm sleep deprived. Yes, it was. So tell me what you think there's literally 2 weeks from now, the first preseason game. So training camp is almost here. How are you feeling about this coming season with the Stars?
I think the expectation as a team's gotta be up there. Obviously, you don't win the Stanley Cup on the first preseason game, so I think we just gotta go step by step. But like you said, having Mikko a full year, I think it's gonna be good for us, and having Miro healthy. I think people forget how good he is as a defenseman, and yeah, I'm looking forward for that season because. We have a hell of a team here, and I'm looking forward to see what we can do this year.
You guys have any last things for Mav?
No, I just want to good luck, Mav, because I think the kind of player that you are and the style that you are, I personally think Gully is going to be great for you because I mean, you have to be able to play the game with confidence, and you have to be and you have to let offensive players make mistakes. I mean, you can't just. Those days have changed. You have to be able to play free and do what you do.
You can't be worried about making a mistake when you're out on the ice playing, right? Because it's just going to get in your head. So, Mav, it's an absolute pleasure. The couple segments just flew by. We have lots more we could talk to you about. So we'll see you at the rink soon, but we really appreciate it and hope the rest of your summer, very fleeting, is very good.
Thanks, Mavrik.
Perfect. Thank you, guys.
There he goes, Mavrik Bourque from the Dallas Stars, and we're going to talk about this next here on DLS. But before we do, let's talk about a couple of things here on the show because we have a little housekeeping. Today's the last day to be a diehard on the football club sale. That's right. It ends tonight. $36. If you haven't been a diehard already, you can sign up right now, I think through the end of the evening tonight, and you get the introductory offer, and you'll get one of those 3 shirts of your choosing, the football club shirts, the Dem Boys, the 88 Club, the cowboy riding a horse, Sam, or as Sam says, I can't read that. I don't know what that is. It's just the cowboy. Anyway, scan the QR code in the bottom of the screen. That will get you to our website, alldls.com. You can sign up for the intro offer if you have not been a diehard already. If you are already a diehard, you can still get one of those shirts with your DLS discount. Your diehard discount is 20%, so you can get one of those good-looking shirts. Football season started. Lutz was just talking about, you feel like you're a Stanley Cup champion if you win one game and you feel it. Talk about overreaction. He was talking about his U18 team with a scrimmage. Well, 1 week of the NFL season and we've got Super Bowl contenders and we've got, you guys better be tanking for Arch Manning or whatever. So anyway, don't forget as well, the ball knower bonus is going on. And we've talked about this before. It's very easy, but now instead of just one thing, we were doing ball knower bonus for will the Stars win Game 4 of the first round of the playoffs against Colorado Avalanche or second round against Winnipeg game by game. And so what you do is you go to the website, alldls.com, and if you spend at least $25 at our merchandise store and then get the ball knower right, well, then you get a gift card for the amount you spent. You basically double your money. You can do that with a whole bunch of different sports, college and pro football going on. Hockey's going to start soon. But if you go to alldls.com, look for Ball Know or Bonus. Those are out there right now. Okay, let's talk about Mavrik for a minute, not because he's not here, but there's a lot there.
Yeah.
Luds, he's gone through this before in his pro career, and I referenced this. When he came to the AHL, he expected as one of the, first-round draft pick. He was great in the Quebec Major Junior League. I know he had a COVID-shortened year and didn't play as much, but he was coming in with huge expectations in the AHL team. And he had 20 goals his first year, but it wasn't to his standard. And then the second year, which was 2 seasons ago, league MVP. He and Stankoven just torched opposition. So I'm not trying to throw this huge expectation on Mavrik's shoulders, but I think he can take steps this year in year 2 of his NHL career like he did in year 2 of his AHL career.
Yeah, I think coming in your rookie season, first-round pick, but you have a Stanley Cup contender, according to everybody.
Yep.
You don't get as much rope there as you do if you're coming into San Jose, Anaheim, those kind of teams, because they allow players to make their mistakes and they say that we're going through the growth of it. You don't really get that opportunity because the expectations kind of outweigh the development or allowing that player to get in there and play and take opportunities in critical situations. Guys like Mavrik, and when his career gets going, he's going to be that kind of guy that when you're down a goal and you're late in the game, he's going to be on the ice. But they have to allow him, and he needs to want to be the guy that wants to be out there when you're up a goal also.
What do you think he needs to do to get on the power play? Because I think
he needs an opportunity.
That's what I mean.
It's nothing more than that.
But this team is so stacked.
And that's what I'm saying.
Because
That's
don't
my
you
whole
think
point.
that I'm not saying he should just be handed it, because you don't. You have to earn it. But don't you think his being on the power play will be like, when he was playing with Texas, when he was the MVP of the AHL, playing 20 minutes a night, he's playing in all situations. And then he comes up here and he's getting 9 to 15 minutes a night.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem of coming to a really good team. And that's why I think sometimes management will keep him in the minors another year, because he's not going to get those opportunities. And again, I think it's just how management and coaches are going to be able to handle a player like Mavrik and allow him to get into those roles. I think, unfortunately, what happens is you talk about the power play. We go through it too, and I'm against it for a lot of times. It's like you can play 4 forwards, 1D, right?
Yep.
So, but what happens is if you're the second unit coming out and you have 30, 35, 25 seconds left on the end of that power play, now all of a sudden puck turns over, and with 10 seconds, 5 seconds to go in a game, you don't have 2 defensemen on the ice. And now you're concerned because you're back in your own zone.
And why not have Essa out there because he can
do
do
it?
That
they played last year, what the hell's the difference? They had forwards playing in front.
Man on man,
Everybody can play
every
wherever they
show.
want.
So, but I'm saying that Mavrik deserves to get an opportunity on the
Well,
power play, but
look
it's
at
not
the-
going to be number one.
Look at the stat that Ryan has on the screen: 10:31 ice time in his limited playoff time role. Sam.
Yeah, it's the thing with Mavrik that stands out that I think Luds was talking about a little bit too is his mental game, right? He mentioned it here when I was talking to him last week. Everything he talks about, he takes it to the next level versus he mentioned the New York trip. He talked about how great he felt in those games. The game against the Rangers at MSG was one of the best games I've seen him play. But then he follows that up with, but that was nowhere close to where I can play. So he's still, like you mentioned, his
He has the
expectations
belief,
are so
yeah.
high, and he just understands things to a different level. And I think that's going to carry him because you need that. I mean, he was frustrated in the playoffs. He was sitting around. He felt he could play and make an impact on his team. And then he was telling me, he gets in the Edmonton game, the elimination game, and he gets that high stick. Just bad luck. His stick just happens to hit the guy in the head.
But it was a crucial
cost
moment
the
early
team.
in the game and set the tone.
And that's what you go through as a young player. You don't get all ups and ups and ups. You have ups and downs no matter how high of a rated prospect you are.
There was one answer when you guys asked a question. He didn't want to say what he felt. Like, he didn't want to blame, like, why can't I get out there?
Yeah.
And again, that's what young players are supposed to do. You're not going to sit there and bitch and complain about things. So, but that's the problem is that there's frustration there.
Yeah.
And then when you don't get those opportunities, when you go out there, you try to prove that you made a mistake by keeping me on the bench. Then it can backfire.
Yep.
because you're trying to do something a
Trying
little
too
too
hard.
much, a little too hard, a little out of your your comfort zone, things like that. And then the biggest problem with players is that they don't understand. So if they make a mistake of the first that particular shift, the next shift they want to go out and they want to make up for that mistake, and then they might dig the hole a little bit deeper. And then as coaches, you're standing back there going, better sit them down, let them think about it. But what they have to do is when they go out there, if your normal shift is 45 seconds, you go out there and you go 30 next time. And you just do what you're supposed to do. You run into a couple of people, get some pucks on net, then you change. Then as coaches, like, okay, he gathered himself back up.
Yeah.
But too many guys want to do too much when they go back out there, and you're like, whoa. Then you give them one
Yeah.
more chance, and then it's like, whoa. So that's just
Well, you said it earlier. It's that whole concern of if I make a mistake, my minutes are going to get
he
cut.
has to be able to play through the mistakes.
Has
They
to.
have to allow him to
Yeah.
do that. Yeah, that's the only way they're going to grow and get confidence in themselves.
Well-
because those kind of players can't go out there not trying to make a mistake. They can't play that.
He's got
way.
too much skill, but he has to
Yeah,
be
they
comfortable
can't
to
do
do
that.
it. So
Yes.
let's talk about this real quick because I know we don't have a ton of time left. We've talked about lines. We've mentioned repeatedly that one of the big things going into the season is who's going to fill Mason Marchment's spot on that left side of the top six, whether it's with Duchesne and Sagan, or do you put Robo with them, and is there a spot with Hintz and Rantanen? Do you jumble that? But I think we all agree that there's 5 players in your top 2 lines that you would, in some combination, be there. I think, right? I think so. Lutz is going,
Well, who's the sixth one that's not going to be there?
well, that's my question because I think there's
because you got Robo, you got Hintz, you got Rantanen,
Yep.
you got Duchesne, you got
Sagan.
Wyatt, and you got Sagan. So are you going to tell me that you think
I just think-
Tyler should be in the top 6
Well,
before Wyatt?
It depends on how Gully wants to play, but I think that they might say we want Wyatt centering his own line.
I can see that.
And so then that's not really a demotion because even if he was centering the quote unquote third line, we talked about he's still playing the most
And isn't
minutes.
Tyler, didn't you say something a week ago that Tyler may be injured coming into the start of the year?
Not that
or-
I'd heard of. I think
you
that
guys
was
were talking.
I was
last
just
year.
No,
Or you're
I was
just saying
I was
he's
just saying he had
older.
an injury
At the
and
end of the
he's
playoffs
had
and-
the issue.
Yep.
So
Okay.
Here's my question,
you can't
though.
do the LTIR, so it doesn't matter.
So we've all talked about Sam Steele being an option to play with Duchesne and Sagan or somewhere on that left side, right? To allow yourself to have Wyatt in the middle as opposed because you could, Lud, you're right. You could put Wyatt up on a wing, jumble some things a little bit. But what if Mavrik Bourque could play on his offside and that would allow you to have
Well, now
Hintz-
you're going to be back. Well, yeah,
Here's-
but
here's what I'm
you said
saying.
at your top line, you're going to end up having Duchesne, Sagan, and Bourque on your second line. You
That's-
can play on the
yeah.
offside,
But-
Yep.
and that puts Maverick back in the middle on the third line.
But here's my
Wyatt.
thing.
Sorry, Wyatt.
Right. And the reason why I say that is if Maverick could, and I'm not saying he has to do that, otherwise it's a failure early in the season, but you could have Hintz, Duchesne, Johnston, and Steele, your 4 down the middle. If Maverick can show that he can play that, then you could have Bastian and Blackwell on your right side of your bottom 6, Jamie Benn, Wyatt in there. You could have
You got Foxa,
Foxa
too.
on
I
your
was just saying.
left. You're loaded.
Yeah,
left side of the fourth line.
It really
I don't
does.
Think, I don't think Radek's a winner.
He's
No.
played that though. I mean,
It
okay,
adds a lot of depth if you get that
right.
solved.
But it's also, I think it's okay if you had, let's say, Luds, Ben, Johnston, and Bourque, and Bourque's playing well.
But
That's a
now
pretty
you're-
good
now
line.
You're talking about taking Jamie and putting him up and playing 19 minutes ago.
No, third line.
Well, I mean, those
Yeah.
are your 3 lines that kind of
I know.
run.
Yeah.
You know, we'll say. Again, what Pete did is he kind of rolled us all 4
He
lines.
did.
I don't know if Gully's going to play that way.
Yeah.
I don't know how
That's
he's
the-
going to.
that's a big question mark.
Yeah, and you don't want the problem becomes the same. Bourque moves up, and now all of a sudden you're looking at Steele,
See, the problem
Johnston,
with
Blackwell.
This here, the problem that you have here, which is where he probably could be,
Yeah.
is I don't know if
You have to.
Maverick should
they
be
can't
playing
see
more
that, so you got to
minutes.
say who.
No, but I'm just saying. Well, I'm gonna in a second. You just let me go. I don't think that Maverick should be playing more minutes than Wyatt.
Yeah, that's going to be
That's
on
what I'm
how
saying.
Goliath rolls.
And
it,
now,
right?
but
Yeah.
again, because Maverick's going to get his minutes, or sorry, Wyatt will get his minutes on the power play. And well, I don't know. I didn't like him too much on PK this
Yeah.
past year. but
Okay,
that
so
may
let me
change
ask you this:
too.
you push
shouldn't
Maverick,
be.
you put Wyatt into the top 6, and figure out who plays what side, whatever. Are you okay with Steele centering Ben and Bourque as your third line?
I mean,
Yeah.
I am. I mean,
Yeah.
to me, if you're
It
moving
depends
somebody
on
up
usage,
from last
right?
year, it's Steele that's going to move
Yeah.
up.
And then you got Tyler down there maybe too.
That-
We have a lot of questions.
Boy, and the good news is we have lots more to
Just
do
think
this.
how Gully feels.
Yeah,
So,
there's a lot to
tomorrow's
digest
show,
here.
We have another big one. It is another 31 show, but it will
How
be
about Mav with the
the
F-bombs?
Minnesota Wild
I know, I
general
love it.
manager
Loved it.
Bill Guerin will join us for a couple of segments. So this will qualify as our other 31 Minnesota
So
Wild.
was that 1 tomorrow?
2.
Or so was that 2?
2 o'clock tomorrow.
You got to update this.
2 o'clock.
So is Billy on from 2 to 2:30 or
I think
2:30 to 3?
I think you did the 2:15 to 2:45 thing again, didn't you?
I don't think.
Talk about it afterwards. Bill Guerin on tomorrow's show. Huge
Tomorrow.
thank you to Mavrik Bourque for joining
Yes.
us today. And of course, for Luds, for Sam, and for Ryan, I'm Owen. We will see you tomorrow for another big DLS Star Show.
We all silly like the mayor.